Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
I'm back and I'm mad.
No. Definitely no. Positively no. Decidedly no.
Welcome.
No.
Hello, Crispin Demons Up, Steve. Yes, no is the new answer to every question that I'm being asked in the last 48 hours. Could you quickly mend something on my PC? No. Could you change batteries in my mouse? No.
You're so being.
Yes, I am. So, I think Jerry will be drinking.
Jerry will be drinking. You're damn straight, mother funster.
So, any special beer?
No, just genius. No fucking around. No ifs, no buts. Straight to the Guinness.
I'm not going to ask what you mean by BP, Crispin.
Clearly, it's his vibrating butt plug.
I said I wouldn't ask.
You're not paying attention, Steve. I was trimmed at salute, and the reason I was trimmed at salute was I had to wear that fucking mask.
Well, it would have been an interesting mask if it had been covering the whole beard.
Generally what happens is the beard is like leaping out from below it, and it spends its time working its way up my face. Every time I move my chin, the beard just pushes it up. So no, I had to strip it back. Have I tried Guinness Zero? Yes. What's the phrase? It's a bit like masturbation, but without the payoff. Why the fuck would I want to try an alcohol-free Guinness?
Yeah.
Why would I want to try an alcohol-free blank? But whatever you want there.
It's like fucking without a climax. There's no point in it.
Exactly.
So this week we are currently back to the usual stuff. Jerry has
looking at your shit, you fucks.
So politely put out some projects for us to look at, and I think there's a certain theme to some of them.
Is there?
I think maybe I'll let
put a theme in them. Fuck.
I'll let the audience decide.
That seems unusual.
So not you.
Yeah, well, you know. I need to get details off you, Steve, at some point. You should send me a message, or I'll send you a message somewhere. Just throw that one out there.
First one.
First one is...
Hola, amigo. I come to suck your blood.
Come to suck your blood.
So this is one of the entries for the Silver Bayonet.
Yeah, this seems to have become somewhat popular.
Yeah, people get out of their ways to be first to have rules or anything in their hands.
Nice. Yeah, so it's just beginning. The plan is to do Spanish. I have Spanish beside me, actually. I was almost late to the stream because I was sitting priming stuff, and I was like, oh fuck, it's 5:02. I better clean my airbrush out. Quickly, clean it, faster. Anyway, mix of miniatures, which right off the bat I love. He's also been delving through Andy's stuff at Heresy. He's got a few vampires, ghouls, and a few other things. The ghouls from Heresy are some of my favourites, especially the mother and toddler ghoul, because the mother is holding a baby that she's just numbing on the head, and then she's got like a little ankle biter of her own side by side. So they're great. It's
definitely a variation of different miniatures.
Oh yeah.
Bones and metals. And,
yeah. I mean, I think there's 2 Reaper werewolves there, but a variety of flavors. I have the Spanish here as well. They were the first set I primed. I've got the British and French, and Wave 3 monsters to go next. But
is Silver Bayonet a miniature agnostic system, or?
Yeah. Yes, it is. So you can
makes sourcing stuff much easier, especially if you have these lovely things from Andy.
Yes, maggot things. Look, there's the little ankle biter. Little fuck. Monsters obviously you can get from anywhere. North Star are doing their own set of Silver Bayonet figures, but unlike Frostgrave and Oathmark, they're not actually official ones because Osprey haven't asked them to do them. But clearly North Star looked at that and went, hang on a minute, people will buy this. So got in there. I love the Maggot Men. They're great.
I think the one in the middle is a maggot woman.
I choose not to check.
It has
Lift them up
tits.
and squeeze them. Tits means nothing. Warren's got tits.
Fair enough.
Squarebase is amazing. Squarebase, and they are indeed Heresy miniatures. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Anyway.
Still waiting for Andy's skeleton Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah. Keep on waiting there, son. You wait a good long time.
I'm already waiting a very long time. I'm just hoping it'll come to life at some point in the near future.
You know, he started talking about doing plastic skeletons, I want to say, guts of 8 years ago.
Oh, God.
So...
I think I caught wind of it when he started doing the Masters 3 years ago? Something like that.
No.
And ever since then, I'm pestering him on social media whenever he's putting up some new of his master models. Saying, do the damn Kickstarter!
Just screaming, where's my Epic Legion? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's for different people. But that's also something I still do. And everybody who wants to listen, and even if they don't want to listen, I don't care. I'll just stream. Because that's how I roll. Yeah, so this is
I tuck my elbows in and lean forward. That's how I roll.
I think Night Runner has some work cut out for himself.
Well, you know, maybe-ish. There is only 19 entries in the monster section. So it really comes down to what monsters you want to lay your hands on, and some of them, obviously, having them in multiples or for the scenarios are handy. It works a bit differently than other games, so you can't just go, I want one of each.
How many figures do you need for your quote-unquote warband, or whatever you call it? 8.
Yep. 8, that's it.
Sounds a reasonable number to paint.
Yeah. I'll let you know once I've hammered these fuckers out.
Oh, and while we're on the subject of undead and vampires, have you found the miniature that suits your what you were looking for?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. I found something that's very close, though, mind you. The two they've sent from the third wave, Vampire Bent, Vampire Bloke. Vampire Bloke looks like George from Blackadder the Third. Which is just amazing, and I will be painting him thusly. So yeah.
Blackadder, the very first one from Rowan Atkinson with the weird hat he has on as a character in that game, should be some interesting sight.
Good way to do it. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, not Monster. Although, better than Leinster. We'll say that. So here, Hissy boy, how come you've got a project that's still private and it's got nothing in it? Just asking for a friend.
We're all friends down here. Next project, then, please, would be Defenders of the Tavern, Kings of War Dwarves.
Yes.
Dwarves and Tavern, always a very good combination, I find.
Yes. I think so too.
Davy Dight, never read that name before, but he's a cult member, so...
You never know.
Good for him.
Could be creeping around in the background. Obviously, right off the bat, Kings of War, fantastic game. But I quite like how he's designed his multi-bases. So first off was, here's my list, here's the size of the regiments they need to be on, and then here's how I want them all to sit together. Because all his multi-basing, when pressed together, becomes a display board of a bunch of dwarves defending a bar. And then it just goes from there. and it goes beautifully because he's done pretty much all of it. So clearly this was being hid. Maybe he's heard that somebody creeps around looking at projects that are private, so he didn't actually start this one until he was ready to pull the trigger and fucking hammer through it.
Just put it all out there at once.
This came out of nowhere, went bish bash bosh, ole ole biscuit barrel, and away you went.
Or maybe he found himself very suddenly having too much time on his hands. And
Yep. There's Rumbly and Mac. Hello. But
I wonder,
3D printed things, you can't have everything, I suppose.
I wonder how he came up with the idea of making a bar as an quote-unquote massive base.
Oh. Because dwarves like to drink?
Yeah, but the concept itself, to have his units, when pushed together, look like they are on display. I know...
dozens, if not hundreds, of Kings of War players have done that. That is not a new idea. Yeah, no, if you just go to the Kings of War Fanatics or Kings of War forum, you'll find dozens of things. There's a particularly nice Night Stalker army that's running rampage through a village fair type thing, and it looks fucking amazing pushed together. Also, the Norwegian responsible used all the colours. It's the most, I mean, wow. You look at the purples and pinks and yellows and stuff that have been used for the cobblestones, and you go, this is insane. But when it's all done and dusted, it looks remarkable.
It's just the only thing closest to it I've ever seen are display trays for Legion and Warhammer, where people have set up their armies, but they have recesses in them, so they're not really using the actual bases.
Yeah, well, that's another reason why Kings of War is better than those games, because you don't need to fuck around with additional set-in pieces. You just push everything together and go for your guns. But if you push on past the unpainted stuff, you'll start to see actually painted bits and pieces. So using a variety of miniatures from everything from his old GW, I won't say Skull Island, but it's not. Whatever the fuck the old box set was.
Skull Pass?
Blackfire Pass, something like that. Whatever the fuck it was called. It was a pass of some description. Anyway.
Multipass!
Multipass. And then he got some, I think, of the TT Combat stuff and Atlantis miniatures stuff as well. So he's got a lot of Rams and bits and pieces. It's just a hodgepodge of, I like this stuff. I need this for my army. Hello, Martin. It's as good a name as any. Demon Sub, it could equally be that. I really like the big Aspis shields. I've been thinking about doing something very similar myself, but Vitrix are always out of stock of them. Oh, you've got to the end where he's painted the shit. See what I mean about
the grand reveal?
It was like 3 days. And clearly, if he painted this stuff over 3 days, then
we need to send him
a word with him.
He needs help in that case.
However, when you get right in there and you start seeing it all, and you're just looking at it going, oh, well, this is a thing of beauty. / insanity. Brackets delete as applicable brackets.
So what army would you put against this to have a...
What army would put? Oh, anything, because Kings of War, again, far better than Legion and all those other games. This is actually balanced. Any army you want. They'll all have a fair stab going toe-to-toe.
But isn't there some kind of arch enemy on dwarves in Kings of War, or is it just a free-for-all?
The arch enemy of dwarves is anybody who gets in the dwarves' way. The dwarves are like, in Kings of War, the Imperial dwarves. Let's make that distinctly different from the free dwarves. The Imperial dwarves fucking rule the roost. Things went badly wrong for the rest of the world, and the Imperial dwarves just closed their doors and then came out and just went, all this land belongs to us now, after the Cataclysm. They're not, it's not one of these Tolkien-esque, Warhammer-esque, where a dying race, there's only 5 of us left things. The Imperial dwarves just go, we own all this. During the most recent campaign, they helped out the Free Dwarves and the Happy Mountain. I went, and so now, because we've helped out, we're just going to set up a permanent fort here in your Free Dwarf Mountain, and we'll be taxing all your shit that comes through here. Think of it as the cost of us helping you. We have to recoup those losses somehow. That'll teach you to leave the Empire.
Yeah, it's definitely something.
I mean, it's just amazing. It's amazeballs. It's even rocking berserkers. Not many people rock berserkers. I've got 6 regiments of them because you never know.
You might need them at some point in the
Might need
future.
them at some point. I could just run a berserker army. I just need to get more badger riding lunatics.
Oh, it's always good to have something to threaten your enemy with he's not expecting.
Oh, there's a guy I follow on YouTube, Steve, who's been keeping a count. He essentially wanted to paint 1 miniature for every day of the year. That was his target. He's past that, and that was even with him breaking his arm in the middle of the year and having to take like 6 weeks off. That's like, you shit.
Well,
anyway,
with only one arm, you'll still be able to prime and build, I guess.
Yeah, that's possibly a thing. I mean, look at that. Even got Mastiff Pack. Mastiff Pack's
It's
cheeky.
interesting to say the least.
And he hasn't gone for the standard Brocks and Rocks dwarf army. It's a bit more, I'm going to say subtle. Subtle's probably not the right word. It's a bit more all-encompassing. Combined arms.
If I have one complaint about the finished picture, the bar looks almost a bit too clean for a dwarven bar.
Again, that's racist. Dwarves aren't goblins. They don't like to live in their own filth. I mean, they've even got straw down on the floor, so when somebody pisses themselves,
where the pigs are, not where everybody else is.
Yeah, shows they're hygienic. They keep the pigs away from the bar in their own little strawy part. But yeah, just a really nice army.
This is isn't the project already closed? No, it's active, so maybe something will be added at some point.
Might do. He's got 2,300, so he's got a standard tournament set up there. I think I need to pull out his army list again and go through because Clash of Kings just come out, so it may have modified it slightly. But regardless, I mean, there can't be much he needs to add. So yeah, really nice.
Maybe some kind of frame to keep the bases all together. Maybe some walls or something.
I just put it on a tea tray. Be fine.
I think some walls would even add to it.
Yeah, but no, that's too short to put walls on.
Kitchen in the background, somebody cooking, halflings doing dinner. Yeah, this is very, very much something I'm not seeing every day. But then again,
I don't think it's something that many people see every day. But it should be. You should all knuckle down and enjoy Kings of War.
I very much like the regiment of Justins here.
Yep. It's the 1-page. Weirdly, they're the 1-page rules miniatures. And I think we commented on that whenever we looked at 1-page rules. It's a whole army of Justins.
So just field some spiders and you win.
Yep, that's the way to do it.
What?
Spiders with massive penises.
Flying spiders shooting
penises with legs. 8-legged peni spiders.
Oh god. Just stop giving me ideas for making terrible pictures.
Pretty sure you don't have to make them. If you just Google that, you'll find it.
So what do you have for us next?
Next, we could have a looky at Innie. And their hobby 2021, what they've been up to, took a break, came back to it, been sticking into some unusual looking people.
Have a look, Leon.
Could be Leon, could be just some rum old cove from Anno Domini 1666. It's nice to see them.
Oh, and he already got an award for his
You got a gold
project.
button for this for it fucking ever and a day ago.
August.
Yeah. Then he took a long break. So I'm not sure if we have. Well, have you ever been here? I've been here.
Obviously not, because I can't see any button being smashed, so...
Oh man, if you go too far, you'll hit another golden button. That's how long this thing's been going on for.
There it is!
And every now and again, he'll just do. And it's like, I'm going to do a load of Blood and Plunder. I go, oh, that's very nice. Get golden button for that. And then I go, oh, I'm going to do a load of something else random. I go, oh, it's really nice. Nothing in this project is cohesive or consistent, beyond the fact it's just clearing out his backlog.
Oh, Blood Bowl.
Sure. That's a thing. I've heard of that.
I like the little dragon here.
You have to scroll all the way to the bottom, aren't I?
No,
To catch you up. No? Oh, thank God for that. Too lazy to go all the way down. Yeah, the little dragon holding the shield.
Is it a shield or a gravestone?
Well, could go either way. It's hiding behind something.
Trying to hide, yeah, or throwing something at someone.
Peekaboo, and out it pops. But it's really the Anno Domini stuff is the main reason I started following this way back, because I really like what they've done for the game. And occasionally you'll get pop culture reference, but even then it's not as massively in your face
No,
as some
think
others do. They all still work in the period.
I think the reference would have been lost if he wouldn't take the picture with both miniatures side by side.
Yeah. BD Jerry, that's a shocking thing to say. The old guy from Tintin, the captain.
Captain Haddock.
Captain Haddock always looking for a bit of rough shag.
What a week. Captain,
pipe
it's
smoker.
only Wednesday.
They're really nice as well. Again, unusual affair.
The paint jobs are very poppy and bright.
Where they need to be. When you get into the historical stuff, they tend to be toned down or more realistic. So you get actual people in actual uniforms. Weirdly, anybody who's got Silver Bayonet, there's a bit in there going, uniforms, don't worry about them, this is a fantasy game. I looked at that and went, yeah, right. You can say that, Joe. You can't make me do that. I know what a British rifleman and a British infantryman look like. I know what a fucking Spanish looks like. They'll be painted in their proper uniforms.
So you'd be biting your teeth if somebody would field someone with a not properly painted uniform, or?
No, I wouldn't give a fuck about other people's stuff.
Oh, okay.
But I know what they look like. If somebody put a load of riflemen down in red jackets, I'd look at them and go, that's a bit wrong. Also, it makes life much easier when you're trying to work out what's what on the tabletop. See that man in the rifleman's green jacket? That's a rifleman.
Sharp?
Could be a sharp. Doesn't have to be.
That's it, the only rifleman I know.
Blue officer have a rager, as in a massive one. I'm going to have to scroll back down and have a wee look.
The officer has what?
No, I think it's just the way his pants rock up.
Where did we leave that? Further up, I guess. May. There's so much in this. Yeah, I think that's just the... I hope it's just the paint job.
It's just the way his pants rock up. Don't worry about it. Nothing to see here.
Chaco and bayonets. That's a gaming system I've heard before.
Yes, it's just got second edition.
Oh,
If I cared about the period, I might look at it at some stage, but I really don't.
A friend of mine is very much into Chaco stuff. I wonder if he has already gotten into the second edition, if this is new.
Who knows? It's possible.
Though
Never know your luck.
he usually tends to be quite on top of things.
On fleek, as I believe the kids say.
Yeah, and I always wonder how he's being able to pay for all this stuff. But then again,
maybe he turns tricks on the side.
No, he just doesn't have a wife, a kid, and lives with his mother.
Oh, there you go. That makes sense. That's how that one goes.
Yeah, it's something very interesting. And it's more or less a follow-up from a project they did last year, obviously.
Yeah, people do this. Crazy people going, I do this shit all year if I want to.
People continuously turning out stuff. Horrible.
Chris, but that's an outrageous thing to say. Now, next time you're double tacoing, I suggest you take a long, hard look at Jesus' face and see if that was something he'd want you to say.
I'm about to ask if Crispin is kissing his mother with that mouth, but then again, I don't want to know that answer.
Kissing is not the worst part. Shall we?
Yes, please. Sprinkling challenge.
You know what I was going to say yet.
Denzium.
Say, shall we in depth discuss?
Oh, dead people.
I see dead people. I see a lot of dead people. In this case, shipwrecked people. You two can go all black freighter on it. A really nice set of ships or ship accessory.
I think that, this is not something I've seen often. I've seen some casualties on battlefields, but not on water.
Not floaty ones on water, no. And the ship as well, or mini ship.
Parts of it.
Robert's not here, so I don't really get to annoy him by calling it a mini ship.
Could be a boat, could be a ship. Who knows?
You know.
Who cares?
It depends on which one's the correct one. In which case, I'll pick the other one because it really aggravates people.
Well, we could just state it's a wreck at this point.
Yeah, so obviously this is something that Denzi has been kicking around with for a little while now, spring cleaning both his high seas and his Old West stuff. So this one's for, clearly, the Old West, renowned as they were for shipwrecks. Many a time an engine party would take them all out.
Knife fighter and explosive expert.
Yep. I like the sack on his head. It's good. It's a nice looking sack. And you can tell he's an explosive expert because Lordy, look at the size of those sticks of dynamite.
Yeah, don't chew on those. That's not very healthy.
You know. It's one way of doing it, certainly.
Science experiment.
For science.
Well. I wonder what reference this could be.
Yes, that, and I didn't see where it came from. It appears in multiple pictures, but I would dearly love to know. You can see him building it further down where he's putting like a tarpaulin over the top and stuff. So it may just be like a toy car rather than an actual miniature piece. But that, I mean, why would you not have that on an Old West table?
And to be fair, that would be something I would not expect on such a table. And if I were to play a gaming table at some convention or even just look at it and come around corner and see it sitting there, I'd had a hard giggle.
Oh, fuck yeah. If I could lay my hands on one before filming Wild West Exodus Let's Plays, there'll be fucking one tucked in a corner, as I will just blatantly steal that idea. Because, you know, I'm not proud. I'll make anything me. I'm a geezer. It does have a resiny look to it.
But that could be just priming.
Yeah.
starting to think, because of the size, it could actually be one of these collectible cars you get with the magazines, like that De Agostini and stuff does. Because I feel I remember they had film and TV series cars in roughly that scale.
Somebody was selling resiny ones at Salute. Oh, how did they hide them from me? Shocking.
Very cunningly, I guess. I don't know why every time I see sprues with miniature parts on them, I want to glue them. I'm coming more and more to the conclusion for myself that building stuff from sprues is the most important part for me on this hobby.
It's the way to go, certainly. It's interesting. That's the new I say new, relatively new, plastic sprue 4. Gunfighter's Ball, is that it? Dead Man's Hand. And that's a really nice close up there. It'd be something I'd be tempted to pick up.
There are there are more Wild West themed games out there than I ever would have thought.
Yeah,
I've always thought that setting would be a bit boring as on a tabletop.
Right. Well, nothing boring about the Wild West. It was all pew pew pew.
But was it?
Yeah. And smoking cigars and narrowing eyes and watches playing music.
I always thought it was just about eating beans and...
No. Although Blazing Saddles, the tabletop game, would be amazing. Candygram for Mungo.
I try to remember what was that TV series called? Can't remember.
I don't know. Bonanza?
No, it's a much older black and white series. The trouble is, I only
Rawhide.
No, German titles, and they hardly ever translate.
Gunsmoke, another good call there, Crispin. Could be Gunsmoke.
They were called Smoking Guns, or Smoking Colts, rather, so could be that.
Oh, probably Gunsmoke.
With a very lovable sidekick character called Footsie. Always running around with his donkey.
Does sound like it. Lone Ranger. Oh, again, Lone Ranger.
Oh, yeah. Little House on the Prairie. No, that's much later, but I don't think that would make for a good game.
Like I say, as far as a period goes where lots of people went pew 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 a lot, I mean, Wild West, it's excellent for that. You just need to find a game that works. I've not played, who do you call it? Knuckle Dusters game. But I've played Legends of the West. It's great. I've had a couple of run rounds at Dead Man's Hand. It's excellent. So you're just looking for something that is a bit different because you're playing a skirmish game, so you want to be doing things like quick draws and actions like that to make it a bit more interesting. I hear Knuckle Dusters. What the fuck is Knuckle Dusters game called?
Tombstone?
Knuckle Duster. Twin taco holding butt plug. Gunfighter's Ball. Okay. I hear good things about it.
Dracula's America. That's also something that's more a crossover, by judging by the title.
Dracula's America is particularly fun.
Because you can't be killed?
Well, it's like Silver Bayonet, except it's all gone Pete Tong in the Old West. So it's got some nice models as well. It's probably one of the reasons why they went into Dead Man's Hand, or not Dead Man's Hand, into Silver Bayonet. Because they know there's already a group of people who are very fond of the historical pastiche of a horror suppose. So anyway, I
Then
digress.
we shouldn't digress anymore and go on to the next
Yeah,
project,
yeah,
which
well,
could be
well.
quarantine.
Well, this one I've picked for everybody in Northern Ireland.
Duck the fuck. And there's a tentacle with a very bad cold.
Could be.
Just look at all the snot coming out of it.
It could definitely be snot as well. Yeah, that is also an option. I'm not checking it. I'd like to point out once again, it's using Doug the Fug's patented bottom of a cake packaging as tread plate for the floor. You'll find Mr. Kipling's finger slices are particularly good for getting your hands on such thing. Obviously, you've got to eat the cake side of it first, but there you go.
Cake eating is optional, I think. You could
No.
always pass
Well,
them on.
No, children starving in Africa.
Well, then send the cakes to Africa. Just keep the packaging.
Just eat the cake. Eat the fucking cake. You need to knuckle down and eat more cake. Has he also made jersey barricades out of something weird?
It looks like it. Some weird plastic cut-offs.
Stationary page dividers. I mean, it's the perfect shape for Jersey-esque barricade, only not made of concrete. That's genius, Doug. You're a fucking legend, son. But yeah, once again, Doug's been working his magic in everybody's going to get a story, everybody's getting painted up, and then I'm going to make a rake of stuff to go with it, scenery-wise. He's a little machine.
Yeah, a little steamy tank machine, and I love the hair color. Let me just say that.
Go nuts. It's the future. That's how you tell people with weird coloured hair.
And grannies with iron hats.
Yeah. That's some form of stub gun. It's good. It's good times. We were briefly talking, very briefly, at Slough. I was like, oh, I get quarantined, but I don't want to have to buy a ton of extra stuff. And I was like, oh, hang on a minute. I've already got pox walkers for 40k. I just do plague zombie type things. So that is exactly what he's done.
Yeah, and they do look like they are doing what they should be doing. Looking ugly and rotten.
Yeah, they're not right. I will give you that. They've gone a bit wrong.
So maybe he should have gotten rid of some of the 40k iconography on the scattered terrain.
You know.
But perhaps this is on purpose to lure in some Games Workshop fanboys to play something different.
Or maybe it's just space Prussians. They had the double-headed eagle a long time before GW got it. As did the Russians. Everybody had a double-headed eagle before GW got it.
Yeah.
When you get to space, you all get it.
Now, when we go to space, we will all have this annoying Amazon smile on the rocket.
Well, that too.
Either that or something that Elon Musk has thought about.
Musky, stoaty, stout.
Oh, half-dead people.
Half dead is still mostly alive.
Seems to be a running theme.
He's fine. He'll pull through.
'Tis but a flesh wound.
That's the one.
Love the way he's used the acrylic parts from the sprue as a whatever that is.
It's one of the things I like about Doug's projects. He is very much a scrapper. And it's like, oh, I need to make objective markers or scatter train or whatever it happens to be. And he'll do it using any old shit. It works so well.
Which I find is something...
I heard somebody talking about Cowboy Bebop the other day, but I don't know what it is.
It is an animated series that got a live action reboot on Netflix.
So who's playing along at home? Young boys have just equalised against Atalanta.
What I was going to say is, I think the art of using your scraps to build something new is something I think most newbies in the hobby could use a lecture on.
Well, you know, there's
Basically,
no point.
it's basically because 20 odd years
not
ago, when you played any type of wargaming, you were very much keen on using your stuff because there wasn't that much choice of anything.
Fuck all.
And today you're spoiled for choice. There's so much. You can go from the ultra cheap papercraft stuff to the extra expensive resin produced one-offs and everything in between.
That is very true.
And I'm not saying choice is bad, but it's always good to know how to work your materials. I think the craftsmanship within the hobby is something that's I feel is a very important part. To really own your own table, to make it yours, and not just buy stuff and plonk it on the table.
I agree with you 100%. Certain companies are encouraging people to buy more by writing specific rules for their bits of terrain, which doesn't help because it gets people in the mindset you have to use the official terrain. Because if you don't use the official, I mean, I could put a defense line down, but there's no rules for my defense line because I haven't bought it out of a box. It's a weird state of affairs.
Yeah, and I don't know if any company that's promoting only use or bought stuff as terrain is actually helping their game. I'd say no.
Well, you know.
Well done, Doug. Do more. Maybe less cake for the sake of your hips.
Yeah, more cake. Especially if you get Battenberg cake, just covered in marzipan. Yum, 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 yum. The tiny marzipan Battenbergs are better than the big marzipan one because you get more marzipan to cake on the little mini ones.
The ratio.
The ratio goes up. It's amazing. Marzipan.
Next week on the Unofficial Hobby Hangout, we will be trying Christmas snacks and sweets.
Fetch me baklava.
We actually could start using stuff. I think the next week is the 30th. Should be something around that.
Correct, Bundo.
And then it's only 4 weeks to go to Christmas.
It's all downhill from there.
It's already downhill, I feel. So, next project then would be Demon Sub.
I'm aware of his work.
Ass-licking toads and bloated flying frogs.
All about that ass-licking toads and the froglings. It's somebody who's gone massively into the Northumbrian tin soldier style. Obviously, also with the inflated frog from
Christmas last year.
Yes, from Moonstone. Oh, Steve's in the audience. You'll be able to see what the Christmas version of your frog looks like. Steve, with the little antlers and furry face man and bat and stuff.
I'd like to know whatever went through the mind of the sculptor from the ass-licking frog and fairy miniature.
Maybe, I'm just saying here, maybe you've got a fairy that's flying past, and when it's that small and it's got wings and you're a giant toad, really, what's the difference between one of those and a fly? There is no difference. Have it.
The fly is crunchy on the outside.
You won't know until you get it in your mouth.
And
You're not getting
here's
a penalty
the
for that. Stand the fuck
floaty Papa Christmas thingamajig, which I find is a hilarious thing.
It's amazing. It's so good. Even the regular version without the antlers and the presents and the big gnomish beard is nice. I need to get a second one, I suppose, really, so I can have both.
I don't know why, but
That's it.
but
Steve-o.
imagine that this is propelled by frog farts.
I played the Christmas scenario. We were hoping to film it for Christmas. We may still have the chance to. I don't know. There's a few things I want to change when we were playing it, but it's interesting.
It's one of the most lovely miniatures I've seen in a long time.
He only drops them out at Christmas. You can get a little blister pack upgrade. Excuse me. So you don't need to buy the whole thing. You can just get the blister, I think. And it's a case of they cast up so many, 50 or 100 or whatever it is. Probably not 100, actually, because let's face it, it's not a big company. And when they're gone until the next year. So it's worth keeping an eye out.
So why are people painting eyes at this size?
Because that's how it works. If you don't do it at this size, then are you even really painting bra?
No.
Do you even left? Do you even hobby bra?
Obviously not.
No, that's always the problem, Damon, with any of the paint jobs we look at here. Because then we ambiguate it to something about 12 times the size it's actually been painted at, and you can see every brush stroke, whereas on the actual miniature, it's a smooth blend.
And let's face it, we are only able to ambiguate these pictures because you uploaded big pictures, so the blame is on you, not on us. And if we find mold lines, we will make sure you know.
We'll point them out to everybody, don't worry.
Hedgehog!
Yeah, Drunken Fritz is really nice. I was going to say he's just there, but he's not. He's behind me. I'm not opening the box, but he's nice. Tiny Angry Hedgehog.
That's a bad eye if I have ever seen one.
It's not a bad eye, it's
pink eye?
Forrest Whitaker eye.
Some of these miniatures just scream you need to be bigger. That's for some reason. I think this little fellow actually would work as a bust size miniature.
It's good. He is good. All eyes must be hit. All barrels must be drilled. It's standard practice. That was somebody I meant to see him at Summit, but we never got the chance because somebody went to see Duncan Rhodes instead. But there's a guy, he advertised with us when he was doing his first ever Kickstarter, a little company called Monkstone Miniatures. And for the likes of your range there, Damon, his stuff would probably fit right in, although they're big, they're chunky, but they are bizarre. It's probably a good one for you, Steve, for painting.
On stream?
Yeah.
So that you can bitch and moan about Jerry making you spend money again.
Yeah, I mean, it's been literally days/weeks since you've done that. But they are, oh yeah, definitely, they are fucking sweet. Sweet to beat. Glom the Collector is my favorite. The traveling snail with all his shit tied to his shell. I mean, they are gorgeous. But there's a couple of Spriggans who've got big heads, huge noses, and then like the scarf comes up to their nose, like that one you've painted. But I really like these. They're really nice. I like the basing as well. The very poppy, bright colors on the base is always good.
Oh, they do look lovely. I'm just closing that page again. I'm not.
Oh yeah.
No, not going there. Not tonight.
Oh, no, that'd be the worst thing you could do. Definitely don't do that. Actually, now look at that. There's like 3 ogre-sized orc pig things. What the fuck are they? I could use them.
For your ogre orc army?
No, I've got a load of like ogre men from Wrath of Kings. I could then use those as ogres. So I could just have like an orc faction that's nothing but pigs in Kings of War, just for myself, my own personal amusement. Snail Trap is beautiful. He's really big as well. I have a terrible feeling they're in that corner, but they're also down several strata, which means I can't get to them to pull them out. But they're you'll find unboxing I've done on them somewhere, and they're chunky models, big, fuck off, chunky fuckers. Despite still being 28mm, but the little Spriggans are kind of oversized. So there you go. There's a good example. So the Spriggans are 28mm tall, but with these massive heads.
Yeah, nice one.
See? I mean, it's clearly not a human, but but you know, it's big. It's big. It's good. There's a GW human, which, you know,
It's smaller.
is actually, to be fair, that's an old GW model. If you put a GW human beside them now, they would look tiny in comparison. So they're all ogre sized. But anyway, yeah, we're not here to talk about Monkster. We're here to keep an eye on the Champions League goals. Oh, I've just gone to halftime break. Sorry, you have to wait for your update. But are you going to play Moonstone with them as well, or are you just aiming solely for Frostgrave, David, while you're there? And I see you. Because you can download the cards for Moonstone. You don't
And the
you
rules.
don't need to buy anything. You've already got. I mean, that guy on that Toad could quite easily be a replacement for Billy on his thing, or for Chops. Is it Chops? Pork Chop? Whatever he's called. The gnome on a boar.
Frostgrave for Northumbrian, Moonstone for the frog.
Nice.
So what's next?
Well, next is obviously a battle report for Moonstone by David Sam. I mean, what are we doing?
Yes. I think it's brothers and butchers.
Tony, as another, I'm going to resurrect a project from fuck ago. And
I see, yeah.
yeah, so a quick 2 years later, and Bush
2018. I think
back in with a big hairy beaver.
I think
Just for you, Crispin.
both of your maths is off by a year.
No,
2018 to 2021.
it's 2 years. 2020 did not count. Everybody knows 2020 did not count. Ask the audience, did 2020 count? No, it didn't. So there. We all wrote as a society. We all wrote 2020 off.
The year that must
Salute.
not be named.
Salute was only this year. Salute was 2020 for fuck's sake. So you know, so that goes. Not the boss of me, Ray Darcy from Kildare.
Big hairy beaver.
Big hairy beaver.
Things I never thought I'd say on a miniatures hobby stream, but then
Right.
again, here we are.
You've not seen my collection.
Oh, are you telling me you've got a big hairy beaver?
I've more than one. Yeah. Put that there.
I love the detailing on the shield, on the flower.
Tony's a delight. He occasionally appears and does a lot of stuff, and then vanishes for a little while. I think just to give the rest of us a chance to breathe sighs of relief more than anything else.
And all the
Particularly that
detailing on the tail from the beaver. That must have
Yes.
taken ages.
Well, you know, got time on his hands. The metalwork in particular, I like. You can see it on the front-on shot, but not the non-metallic-y obsidian-like hammer, but the arm, the probably true metallic on the arm, I think looks amazing. Really nice tones and hues in there.
It's not too shiny, but also not too dull. Just about right.
That is true. 2021 did give you that, Crispin. Jesus, take the wheel, huh?
Dual tackle brass knuckle Jesus butt plug, but it doesn't use battery.
It doesn't need batteries. It's got the Lord on its side. Faith is its ally, and a powerful ally it is.
I think that's the wrong movie you're quoting.
Oh, no, I don't think it is. Petey Wheatstraw.
Yeah, I think this is a project I need to follow, even if notifications will be very far in between.
You know, you think that, but maybe he's suddenly come back because all of a sudden he's got a ton more birds and badgers and we're going to get a ton of stuff in here. I imagine we won't need to follow it. I imagine somebody whose name rhymes with hen will almost certainly discover this and but ding it in the not too distant or keep an eye on it for us so we'll get constant updates. I never realized the shrinkage was so bad on that green stuff resin thing. Jesus, that's lost like a third.
So, since this has been a small update, what's next in pipeline? No cheese?
No cheese.
Night Runner again. Oh. Another finished army.
Well,
that's a longish army.
Listen, Dougal, these are far away. I think it came up on the XLBS. But that's no reason to let them steal our thunder from what is, after all, our show. With the tiny fighting projects and the miniatures.
I don't think they came up on the XLBS. I can't.
Did they not? I could have sworn I spent a lot of time discussing the use of metallics on the standards. These are 1/72 for 20 mils. And the detail work done on the command stands. Well, the detail work, full stop.
Yeah, I was just about to say, if this is 20 mil, this is insane detail work.
But when you see the command stands, it really stands out because you get things like that, where, you know, somebody's riding past and about to pick up a set of orders. Little runner, go aid to camp, tell the men over there that they're about to get annihilated. But even the shading on the horses, something that a lot of people can't be arsed / find difficult to do in 28 mil, and in that little tiny bastard looks absolutely beautiful. Especially that, see that sort of done on the left.
Yeah, it's very hard not to see the craftsmanship that went into it.
Certainly a.
It looks like a horse.
Yep. I mean, it's taken them just over a year, and as we know, Night Runner has done other projects, so it took them a year, and they've been doing shit in between. You know, it's not like a year fly on these tiny, magnificent bastards. Was on XLBS, Damon. Thank you. That's all right. I thought I was going mad, or maybe we were going to talk about it this week. And like, oh well, who knows? Anyway, doesn't matter. I've got double mint. But yeah, DBN. So interesting rule set.
I like the look of rank and file, but I don't think I would want to play rank and file for some odd reason.
Right, you're just weird. So weird.
I like how rank and file armies look organized on the table, but then again, playing with them feels off. I couldn't tell you why.
Round bases are off. You're off.
Yes, that's very much true. But then again, that's nothing new to anybody in the audience, nor to you or me.
There's a camp down near the bottom.
With
where
tents?
with tents and supply wagons, which are very important in a lot of proper historic war games, where capturing the camp or baggage train is generally, game over for your opponent if they lose that. And those little pieces, A, look amazing, and B, really sort of set it in that it is an army on the march, because you've got your surgeon, you've got just some guys whoring, and you've got the supply wagon as well. And again, beautiful. And also shockingly cheap.
In regards of actually purchasing the miniatures?
Yeah, because when these are 1/72, these are not 20mm metals or something that are going to be detailed and expensive. A lot of these are hat and artillery and shit like that. These are the, box of 80 1/72 French Napoleonic guardsmen for £5 type of thing, So the extra work is just fucking amazeballs. I mean, they're great. I love them.
I love the
It almost makes me want to go and find my 20mm Napoleonic British Army in the roof loft and base it up and me and Night Runner can play. It take me slightly longer than 14 months to paint them, though.
I really like this picture here with the one playing whatever instrument that is. The guy at the back holding some grains.
Pretty sure it's a guitar he's playing, although it could be a violin that he's just about to tune up and sling on his shoulder. Who knows? Who knows? But just, just a little camp scene. Bloke lying down by the fire warming his cockles. It's just a beautiful set. And baggage trains, finding a decent one or decent camp set for your games can be very difficult for some things. Or you'll find, like museum miniatures, whatever will do them. You end up having to buy them in metal, even if the rest of your army's in plastic. So being able to lay his hands on these things and sort of combine them from various bits, especially hat and head and miss.
I think that's the most positive thing about historics is if you choose a specific time you want to play, you've got so many options on who's supplying your miniatures. And if they all keep to scale, you just can make so much variation.
Well, it's the nice thing. People often complain about Foundry and Perry's being slightly smaller, and Warlords, early Imperial Romans, they always bitch about them being so small. But they are all scaled to proper 28mm. All of those fuckers are the right scale for them and for 40 odd years of miniature production around them. It's only with scale creep and if you put a Victrix model on a horse beside a Warlord or Perry or a Foundry Roman, it looks like it looks like a 20mm figure beside something else, because scale creep has gone mental. But with a lot of, certainly with the 1/72 stuff, they're all compatible. Sometimes you get people who are a bit thinner, or they're
but then again, nobody in real life looks exactly the same like anybody else. There is variation in people.
I keep hearing that, and my problem with that as a response is equipment is not, just because I'm taller than somebody else doesn't mean I'm going to be given a special gun that's 1 foot bigger than everybody else's gun, and steel helmets and chacos. Not equipment was standard. So yes, people may be taller in real life, but their guns shouldn't immediately explode in size.
No, the gun thing I can get behind, but everything else, the uniform and helmets should go up. If your head is bigger,
No, hats didn't.
No, if your head is bigger, you need a bigger helmet.
Oh, you might need a bigger helmet and hat, but they were still, based to a certain size.
Oh, that's true.
But British helmets in World War I and German helmets are the same. They weren't made to fit tightly on your head. They had like a strapping on the inside that was adjustable, a mesh.
And then again, I think if you got a whole army's worth of miniatures and you just mix them in, you usually not see that at gaming
Oh, yeah.
distance.
Certainly not, especially with 170 seconds like those. I mean, that's the thing. That is the reason we went for 170-second plastics when we were deciding to get into Napoleonics. But so you could do this. So you go, right, well, who makes French grenadiers? Well, these fuckers do. Right, grand. I'll have some of them then.
Put
Right,
Steve
I now
next
need
to
some-
Jerry, that's scale creep. Well, we've seen how scale creep works with Jerry and Free.
Hilarious.
And I feel she dresses up her hair the way she does just to have an inch more in height.
I like whenever I put her behind the box for Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, that's a big box. Whoops, gone. I'm doing an unboxing. Oh, there's somebody to assist me. Let me move the box.
I was like the time I did Hellboy with Sam, and for the exact same reason I refused to sit down because it amused me. Anyway, but yeah, it's a Night Runner. Stunning.
Talented bastard. Next up,
Shocking, isn't it? Shocking altogether.
Flintlock. Silver Bayonet. By Stompy51.
Stumpy.
Oh,
So this is one that came up with Pete
video.
asking, you know,
Greeting.
how silver bayonet work compared to flintlock, and they are very different. However, if you already have a bunch of Napoleonic fantasy stuff, then you know you're good to go. You can either just run silver bayonet with them as is, pardon me, or you can replace some of the things when you get hobgoblins and stuff. You can just use these. Either works.
I feel I've seen these somewhere before, but I can't put my finger on it.
Could be a weekender. We did talk about alternative armies way the fuck back, who are responsible for flintlock. There's Sharp as an orc.
Shork?
Shork.
Shork.
Could be a shork.
Well, I love the theory that Sean Bean's characters all die in movies so he can live forever.
Like a portrait of Dorian Gray.
Yeah, that, but the other way around. Or more like the movie equivalent. Which makes sense to some degree. I don't think he has aged much since the days of Sharp.
Yeah, that's true. He does seem to have got away with it massively.
Yeah, let's see what's with him in the next 20 to 50 years. These do look very special, to say the least.
It's very hard. Just because they're orcs. You are so speciest.
They could be trolls for all I care. The guy on the far right somehow strikes me more like a vampire than an orc, but
That's because Davy Sharp is, you know, a handsome fellow.
a handsome orc.
I mean, not elf handsome. Getting
Yeah,
there.
it's a interesting thing, babe. Let's see if he does more with his 25-year-old flintlock collection. 25 years, well, that's legally allowed to drink beer in almost every country around the world.
I'm just looking forward to seeing more flintlock stuff, to be brutally honest. You know.
Yeah, the upcoming project, I know you've just put in here to punish me, to tease me.
I mean, I wouldn't say punish.
Torture?
Well, let's say it's a lesson
In what?
in life.
Rumbly 8.
Rumbly it. Look at them.
Cult
at
of
them.
the Destroyer.
How can you look at them?
I really like the posing. What on this particular model I don't like so much is all the concrete. But then again, how else would you know that these are some kind of construction maniacs?
That's the magic. That's the magic of the source code. So obviously we looked at this a long time ago, before Salute. And then frantic painting meant no real updates before Salute. So we're now seeing just the fruits of his labor and even a picture of one of them lurking in a cabinet. Unlike Steve, he didn't win. Presumably he didn't tip peachy enough to push over other people's cabinets. But a beautiful section of miniatures.
Indeed. And the painting process and building process also very nicely detailed every step of the way. So that you could potentially try to emulate the look.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we could because we've got bots. You couldn't because you don't have bots. Why do you not have bots? Why do you hate bot wars? Why? Why, Tim? Why? People want to know. People ask.
Fuck you.
People were asking me the other day.
Die.
They said, why is he hated so much?
Fuck
Atlanta's
you.
just gone 2-1 up against Young Boys. I don't know.
I was going to say I'm not listening, but then again, that would be a total lie.
Nice! Nice! Deception! Gonna end up with Forrest Whitaker,
Yeah.
Do
Also,
you love that?
I can't handle the truth.
Oof. He is lovely.
Yeah, Rumbly8, you are a talented bastard, and I hate you for
better
having
again.
these.
You don't even have to go to Sweden now. Somebody in the Deutschland is going to be stocking it.
What?
Fantasy Welt.
Oh, fuck, you're kidding me.
Yay! What faction are you going to do? You're going to do the Ravagers or the Thrashers?
I'm not even going
You should do the Thrashers.
to make fun about this. That is my current supplier of all things Star Wars Legion.
Sweet.
Oh, Rumbly8, I hate you even more.
Your work here is done.
Oh, God. You know that I just need to look up if that's already in their pre-order box.
Join us. Join us, Tim. Join us.
Nothing really jumps at me right now, but then again, those terrible bastards.
Maybe it's under Trader Galaxy.
Well, it would be nice if they would do it before Friday, because I know they are doing some creepy sales for Friday. It's not there yet.
No, oh well. Guess you'll have to wait before you can join the big boys club with their lovely bots.
I will be hard pressed to resist if they don't slap on some horrendous upmarket price. But then again,
I imagine they'll be fine. I mean, the price in Sweden was fairly decent. And if you think about it, it's got less distance to travel to get to you.
what I've been painting, Steve, I've finished my whatchamacallit.
Wookiees?
No, those are started and work in progress. My bunker, in fact.
Oh, look at you with your bunker. It may look like I'm going to clean some paint off my mat here, but you keep talking because I assure you I'm listening. It's just this is starting to
So there's somebody like this, and then I need to. Where's the other thing I need to click? I don't know. This.
You don't know, we can't tell you.
And now I need to add light. Let there be light.
Ooh. Very bunkericious.
Yes, and very much a first for me using pigments in that
Oh, is this what
large
you were
amounts.
pigmenting?
Yes.
Well, then it all went wrong for you because
Oh,
reasons.
yeah, I wasn't aware that the IPA I used in the spray bottle to get all the pigment settle dissolved some paint, and now I've got some scratches on the corners, but they actually look like they're intentional, so I just leave them there.
It's interesting, certainly. I've never had a problem with it lifting the paint.
Yeah, it's down to it's not just one coat of paint, it's primer, grey, and green on top, and it's down to the primer.
Yeah,
Which
like I
is
say, I've never had IPA lift whenever I've been putting on anything, even when I don't actually bother my backside to varnish in between. You must have been soaking it.
yes, I was.
I use 99.9%.
So
IPA.
did I.
So, because I know you can get 60%, but
No, it's 99.9. And
go big or go home.
and these little things, these little terminals,
Yes.
they're all magnetized.
Oh.
So I can rearrange them as I see fit, and they won't fall over.
Oh, they're magnetized to the floor, not to each other?
Yes,
Or
to
they
each other.
Oh, to each other.
I just added something to the bottom because actually the base is just about 6 mils wide, so they would topple all the way. So they get a little foot. And then there's magnets inside,
Ding, 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 ding.
as is on the back side. And the top.
Inside. Is it worth the, I want to say, 90 odd pound that it cost? I can't actually remember how much the bunker is, but I seem to remember being pricey.
It is rather pricey. I got it on a sale.
Yeah, because your shop was closing down.
Yeah.
We can't all be lucky enough to watch somebody's business and livelihood go down the Swanee in front of them just to grab a bargain.
Yes, I'm a terrible person.
Mm.
I'd say yes. The production quality is outstanding, and it feels nice and hefty. And if you have more than one, you can put them back to back to have one big one.
Let you know how that goes when my lottery win comes in.
Oh yeah, that's something I dream about all day. So
I dream about a double taco holding Jesus butt plug. shows how different we are. I do. I mean, obviously the destroyers are one of the more recent bot sets, and you could really see the change in, I suppose, sculpting and positioning.
they seem
the more static sort of original ones.
they're getting more dynamic, more actiony. But maybe these sculptors just more confident in his skills now. Or it's just now that the game sells, it's worth putting more effort in it.
I don't think it comes down to a sales point of view. I think it's more likely just the sculptor and the mold making these days. But the mercenaries are on their way as well, so you can add mercs to your bot factions.
Well, I'll make sure that everybody on the OTT Discord will hear my screams if and when they arrive at.
Oh, don't worry. Now that I know they're going to be there, I'll check Fantasy Welt every day because I order stuff from them sometimes as well. Sharing the knowledge, it won't cost me anything extra because Europe is great.
Funnily enough, that's the shop I sent Lena to go shopping for her stuff. And she had been cursing me for it ever since.
It's my backup. I normally go to Berlin Bunker first.
Yeah, this one is physically closer to me, so if I ever feel the need, it's a 2.5 hour drive or something. Yeah, I could potentially go there and knock them on their heads. Speaking of knocking, let's knock out the next project.
Yeah, let's knock out the next one. Unlucky without the placing rumble, but great show nevertheless.
So we had been here before.
We had. Despite the fact we now know he is taller than me.
Is he?
Yep.
How's that possible? Is that
You know.
statically sound? Doesn't he implode on himself?
Who knows? Who knows? But I thought I'd be the bigger man. Haha! And wouldn't ignore his work. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Try the fish. Yeah, so we were here a little while ago. As Berlin's working through a variety of stuff for 15, 20 and 28mm Vietnam. I was saying he's a bit of a fan of the Nam, but he does appear to be a Nam fan.
Num num.
Nam, nam,
All the nums.
nam, 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 nam. So, a mixture of painting, scratch building, the whole 9 yards. You're going all the way back to there, are you?
Only a bit, just to get a
Just get a feeling
overview.
where we're at.
Half
what's going
naked
on.
people with red scarves charging.
Yep.
As long as there are no
Probably a
shindits in this.
Don't know. Don't think so. I think you're fine. I think you're fine. But
I think this is a very cool way to display all your miniatures. Just stick them on a ruler.
yep, I imagine they're about to be sprayed. Get yourself a big ruler with some magnets and spray away. But that is dropping down to the 15s. So I'm fairly certain Andre has a 15mm Vietnam force, possibly both. So all we need to do is get them together somewhere.
Building scenery for 15mm must be somewhat easier than for 28mm because you don't need that much detail.
It depends how you're feeling.
Well, you could go totally ham on it.
Yeah, well, I put drain pipes on mine because otherwise, where's the water run off to? So there's 15mm is still plenty big enough to do all the detailing you want. If you want to just go, we're just going to make a box and stick some texture paint on it, then you can do that too. But there's plenty of room in there to mess around. And I like no, I won't do rigging. So I've got my pride. I'm not going to put rigging on a boat like some sort of water bitch, like Rob.
Yeah.
Hi, Rob. gotta have standards.
You need to be able to look at yourself in the mirror in the morning, after all. And a magnetic gaming board.
And a magnetic gaming board. Sorry. Being tormented by a Swede.
Taunting you with football results?
No. It's just general Swedishness. Well, you're way up to the gringo stuff. But I like the commitment to not just doing a set of Vietnam figures for gaming, but to do it in every fucking scale. I mean, most of us would go, I really want to play Vietnam. I'm going to do it in this scale, and that'll be it. However, Berlin's gone, I'm going to do it all.
So, if he were going along with his scale decreep, the next thing would be 12mm? Or 10?
Well, 10. 12 doesn't exist beyond either 15s that are very small or 10s that are very big.
It would be interesting to see a side-by-side comparison with the largest and the smallest all going down. Like, this is scale creep.
It's like plaster ducks on a wall, but using, the NVA or Marines. It's a way to do it.
Now, is this one very small or just far away?
Well, it could be both. The weird thing is, most times when people change scales, it's so they can get a different type of game on the tabletop. So, you know, if you play Bolt Action, you would then play Flames of War, so you're playing like commander or battalion level rather than just, you know, companies and platoons. But with this, he hasn't. He's gone, I'm going to play the same skirmish style games,
And
regardless.
why shouldn't you? I can't see any reason why not to do. You just
Can you not?
have a smaller footprint on the table, that's all.
I can. I mean,
Why?
well, if I'm limited in room and I can only have one, then I'll have the one that I'm limited to. But if you're not, and you go, well, I can play my skirmish game here. Go, okay, well then, what if I want to play a bigger style of game that doesn't work on platoon as the full sort of force, but actually works on companies or battalions or full divisions, and then you play your bigger games and you have your bigger support and your tanks and the like that you can't field. I'm not saying he's wrong in doing it. Obviously, it's what he wants to do. I'm just saying it's unusual.
Yeah, that
The
definitely
drops in
is.
scale aren't accompanied by a change in gameplay.
But that's something that always piqued my interest when I see somebody play, let's give Saga, for example. You could go down to smaller scale miniatures and just play it on a very, very tiny board.
Yes.
As long as you get yourself everything else to scale. At which point I think there will be discussions had with your opponent if you use a different scale than what is usually agreed upon.
Yeah. Oh no, I've seen people play Saga in 15mm, where they play it 1-to-1, not where I'm playing it in the same. I'm essentially just playing Saga, but on a smaller scale because it looks better. But they base 1-to-1 and then play games on a cut down version, and it works perfectly well. But you know,
It's
but then
always
it would be weird if then you also play Saga at 28mm, but you also play Saga at 20mm. So you're playing the same game with the same army 3 times in 3 different scales. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, and you just need to make sure you remember what scale you're currently playing at.
Well, it's fine for Saga because it uses sticks.
Sticks, he says.
Sticks. So once you've got a stick, you're never actually measuring things.
Okay.
You're just putting your sticks down to see how big, small, or indifferent they are.
Sticks and dicks. Shall we go on to our last project for today?
Yes. It is. Bum, bum, bum.
We had him before.
The Orinoco flow has come to an end. Sail away, sail away, sail away. But the core box is all done and dusted.
Which is always a sight for sore eyes. And speaking of, when I saw this picture he put up in the project link, I was really happy for some weird reason.
Yeah, like old eggs.
This just... I've seen this, my first reaction was, why are the lids black? And
Because
then
they're not the oldest things.
And then I saw, no, that's not the paints you have, those are the inks. And even back in the day, Games Workshop, or rather Citadel, had different lids for different things. White for the regular paints, black for the inks, and blue for the washes.
Do I have my inks in here?
And I think black also was on metallics.
Yeah, but those are the second wave of inks. Because the original wave of inks didn't have stupid names like Twatty
Firestorm
Purple
yellow,
and
Plasma red.
Yeah, they just said red, yellow, orange, chestnut, for example, because that's an original ink.
And also the label is shiny.
The label is shiny. That's the Golden Demon on one side. The little expert paint set. It came in and it contained 9 inks. they were lovely. Lovely, lovely. Still awesome today.
Do they also smell weirdly like the washes did?
No, these are just inks. These are literally artist ink. There's
Okay.
no weird things in them.
Because the washes smells horribly.
I mean, I imagine today, he was saying one of his, like the orange, smelled weird. No, there's not much of a smell off that.
I only got the Barbarian Flesh. No, was it Barbarian Flesh? What's it called? Just Flesh Wash, I think.
Flesh wash.
And that smells like poo, to put it bluntly. Which isn't very nice to work with. But then again, it's also not really good, giving me the results I want, so I barely use it.
I think chestnut ink was the ink that they suggested use for flesh in the day. They didn't have a flesh wash, just used chestnut.
But getting back to the project at hand, these paint jobs do look nice. Though this smile gives me the creeps.
She's a happy lady.
I don't know if she looks happy or like
she's happy.
Like somebody put a ice cube beneath her armor and it's just getting cold.
No, she's definitely happy.
This one is happy. He's smiling all the way while he's stabbing you in the back and the front at the same time.
Mostly the back. Mostly.
Do you have time to talk about a lot in Savior? Krupp Eisenstahl?
But obviously the heroes/villains are nice. But it's just seeing things like the complete units of the Elven Defenders.
Dual-wielding dwarven gun lunatic.
Yes. He does like the pew-pew-pews.
Well, judging by the tech he's using for his gun, it's just a pew-pew and then it's gone.
You know, that's why he's got a bag on his back.
More loaded guns.
Brimming full of pew-pews. It's all about the explode, explode, explode.
The highlighting is anything but subtle.
That doesn't need to be subtle. Actually, that's not true. Some of the highlighting on the skin is quite subtle. Yeah, if you go down to the Master Hunters and the like, below the heroes, where you're dealing with the elves, then there is fairly subtle highlight on the minis. Priest Hunter, no.
And the dragons, the very lovely, colourful dragons.
Yep, including Steven.
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 Oh, what has the internet done to some parts of our brain?
It makes sense though when you see that thing side on. They're really cute. Yeah, Damon, I can't remember if they ever made a miniature of him painting. But it was a ongoing thing. A lot of companies then ended up doing it. There's a Privateer Press model who's holding a warjack in one of his hands and paintbrush in the other.
Doesn't Vallejo do this also?
Do what?
Having paint sets with miniatures painting versions of themselves?
Not that I've noticed. Most, that's a Vallejo paint set there, where they've just got a big open front, going here, the paint's in it. Occasionally they make paint sets for other people, and the other people stick artwork on it. But if it's a Vallejo paint set, it's generally, this is the colours you're getting.
The airbrush sets I got last year for my birthday were all closed and had some artwork on it. So the spaceship has a very X-wing looking type of thing on top. So, or was it the Games Workshop beginner's set currently having a demon painting on?
Could be. I choose not to look at anything Games Workshop in case it affects me in some horrible way and I get the bloat.
So you are saying by looking at Games Workshop products, Papa Nurgle will come and visit?
I imagine so. It explains why the ship pipes outside BW's head office have exploded and nobody can go near the place
Yeah, that's
because of the fetid reek emanating from it.
I really feel sorry for people working there to a degree.
Well,
But-
there is nobody working there at the moment.
But at the same time, I don't think it would have, could have happened to any more fitting company than Games Workshop.
It is hilarious. But no, they've closed. They're not allowed in or out at the moment, so everything's shut. So don't be expecting things like new releases or orders to go out to stores because they don't know when that's going to be fixed.
I think the last headline I read was that the sewage line actually collapsed.
Yep.
How is that even possible?
If I was a betting man, I would say chronic underfunding from the Tories every time they're in power. That would be my guess. And the Tories are mostly always in power.
Oh, God.
It's like every 20 to 30 years, they elect a Labour government for a little while.
Just to have a change of
then,
taste.
Yeah, and then they go, oh, this all seems wrong. We've got money for stuff. And then they immediately put the Tories back in power, who just take all the money and give it to their mates. It's an interesting system that, for some unknown reason, works really well.
At least for some people.
Oh no, well, they keep being voted in, so you know, clearly people don't like to have services in their area. I hate having an NHS and sewage and transport that works. I hate all of these things. I really don't want my town centre to be renewed.
That's
or to be
all
halfway
communism.
decent. You know what? We need to give the Tories, a chance here to give money to their mates again. Go team.
Yeah, and this is what you get for voting Brexit. Games Workshop covered in shit.
That requires that meme of that guy with all the red wool to work out the connection between Brexit and Games Workshop.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
But,
or the animation one where that glass wearing guy is pointing at the monitor and then going, "Coincidence? I don't think so."
They may have a different distribution center, Taffy, but they contacted us as a store to go, no deliveries this week.
So they had to let someone in to get the list of numbers on who to call.
Presumably they did it before they evac'd.
This is... I'm really looking forward on how that story comes to an end.
I mean, Belfast is a prime example. The majority of the sewer system in Belfast was installed in the Victorian period. The Top Gear guys, before they all left, and Top Gear finished forever, drove minis through it in a Italian job style. Because fuck it. Massive Victorian tunnel sewers, you say? Yeah, we'll have a punt at that. That's, you're mostly looking at systems that were built several hundred years ago, or 150-ish to Victorian era. They're not modern by any stretch of the imagination. It's only a matter of time before these things fucking collapse.
Yeah, it's interesting on how different some what you call it, elected leaders spend your money on.
Mostly we just give it to Tory party and then they give it to their friends. It's generally how it works. The only people who have got anything out of it recently, and while we have people from England and Scotland, and I don't know if we've any Welsh in the audience, just to rub salt in the wound, did you know that everybody in Northern Ireland over 18 got a chance to have £100 free from the government? Well, we could spend it wherever the fuck we wanted. Did you get £100 free for your government soup? Ah,
I just need to look if there's some band-aid here I can rip off now.
it's good. It's good times. Remember that time our right-wing religious nutters were propping up the Tories, and we got like £1 billion sent over for. Well, holy shit! Nobody expected that. 2-2 from the young boys. I get free prescriptions as well if I want, but I don't want. But yeah, the £1 billion the Tories give us to help vote shit through. They sat and looked at it for a while and went, you know what, we should just send this out so anybody who wanted could claim £100 credit card as long as you're over 18. No limits on it beyond that. One per person. So like 1.4 million people applied. Yes, we'd all like £100, please. Thank you.
Free money, count me in.
Free money from the government.
Oh god.
It's good times.
That's interesting. No, I don't want to become famous, you fuckwit.
I do.
Be gone, thought.
Oh, I don't know why people always delete them.
I don't delete them, I'll just ban them.
All right.
It's the tiniest slither of power I can wield. Let me have it.
Well, fair enough.
I
I just
can't
look at it and go, because I see other people banning them, and it's like, it seems like an awful lot of time and effort to click on them and stuff. I just let the thing just fuck off.
If I were able, I would kick people off Discord at
I can do
times.
that. I don't. Be very good. Don't do that, but
Yeah.
I could.
You could, but if you would hurt your franchise, your employer,
I don't think so.
potentially.
Oh, fuck my hat. Barca just scored. Even he can't believe it. Oh, was he offside? Oh, now he's down on the ground rolling about. You thought you won.
And with that, have you thought?
Oh, that was tight.
I'm hoping you're not talking about the dual tackle brass knuckle Jesus butt plug.
I mean, it could be tight. All depends how used to it you get. It's a thing of beauty. It really is. I mean,
Yeah, it makes you wonder who the fuck took the time out of the day to render that image, and why.
Well, to bring some joy into people's lives, I imagine is why. I mean, just like with Crispin, he hasn't been happier since it's been sent to him. I don't know what he does for a living, but I got a message going, I just burst out laughing in the middle of a meeting. I'm just going, well, you know, I like to imagine it's like some sort of Fortune 500 company, you know, massive board of directors meetings, and then just somebody pissing themselves laughing because of the double taco Jesus butt plug.
And then puts it on the projector to everybody to see, to laugh, and then...
I can see it being the big, you know, there's always like a big Christmas toy. Like a couple of years ago, it was Elsa from Frozen. I mean, this is the must-have gift this Yuletide. Nothing says Merry Christmas like double taco holding Jesus butt plug. Brass knuckle.
Yeah, the brass knuckle part is
brass knuckle is a
important.
very important part. How else do you get the butt plug in and out? It's good. It's good times.
Yeah, people, please look that picture up if you haven't seen it. It will be hilarious. You will love it.
Tell you what, if anybody's in the House of Water, they've seen it multiple fucking times. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah. With that, everybody in the chat, thank you for being here. YouTube guys, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, comment, fuck off, go home. I don't care.
Young Boys 3, where the fuck did that one come from? Bye.
And I thank Jerry for being here, and now we'll just sort of bye.